You cannot get a cognition, a synchronicity, a download, a message, a aha moment, a gut feeling from your Lord until you empty your mind. I spent some time with an individual. You know those people that can read minds? You've ever seen those videos of those people and they're like, think of a name. And then that person says a name. So I found one of those people one day. And I was very fascinated. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to network with this person. So just naturally network. That's a whole different skill in its own. I can make another video on that. So if you're interested in networking, leave a like down below. Subscribe to the page. I can make a video about networking. Me and him become boys. And I'm like, yo, let's chill, right? So we chill for like a few days. And the most interesting thing is I wanted to see how he could read minds. I was so fascinated. I'm like, how? Is this like guy tapping into jinns? Is this guy doing black magic? Is he righteous? Believe it or not, he believed in God. Believe it or not, he was Christian. And I was like, huh, interesting. So you're a Christian, you're religious, yet you can read minds. You're not doing any sort of black magic. You're not tapping into jinns or anything like that. How do you read minds? And you know what he said? You cannot tap in to the frequency of the other person's thoughts until you empty out your own thoughts first. And I was just like, huh? Let me repeat that. You cannot tap into the frequency of somebody else's thoughts if you don't empty out your own thoughts first. How are you supposed to truly sit there and listen to anybody's thoughts, be able to empathize with anybody, be able to listen to anybody attentively, unless you reset and have a sound mind first? So what this man mastered was the ability to get his heart rate super low, was the ability to completely empty his mind, literally no thought in his mind, so he can figure out the frequency of what this person was thinking, and somehow, some way, through some telekinesis thing, this man was able to read people's minds. He'd be like, all right, say the name, got it, and then he'll spit the name. Now, I've never got into this level of understanding how to actually do it, because I don't think I'm interested in reading people's minds and saying, hey, like, think of a name and I'll say it. I think a lot of people will think I'm tapping into some dark energies, even though it makes total logical sense based off of how the world operates, how Allah has created this world on a quantum physics level. It makes so much sense. But it did get me thinking, wait, how about I learn to empty my mind in order to get the gut feelings, the cognitions, the synchronicities, the downloads from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instead, so that I could be, do, or have anything I want? So then I tried it. And the first day was very hard. I really couldn't get rid of my thoughts because I worked so much and I constantly was thinking about my business and my goals and my clients. Then I'm like, all right, I got to empty my mind. So I started praying and I started really submitting in sujood and letting go of my thoughts there. Did a little bit of the trick, but then I got to do it some more. So I started focusing on my breathing. And with every breath, a sort of meditation. I actually talk about this meditation in my hypnosis video. I'll link it down below. You can hypnotize yourself, and I show you how I hypnotize myself in 3 ways for success. And it's called 1 through 10 breathing. Okay, so you breathe in for 1 second, and then you let go for 1 second, and then breathe in for 2 seconds, and then you let go for 2 seconds. So basically, you're breathing 1 in, 1 out, 2 in, 2 out, 3 in, 3 out, and 4 in, 4 out, all the way till 10 in, 10 out. Okay, and when you get to that point, every single breath that you have to take, when you get to that point, you are letting go of thoughts, as if there's a cloud of thoughts in your mind, and you're letting that cloud just go away off into the oasis. Another really good way is, all right, cool, I'm sending these thoughts and all these burdens and all these ideas and everything I have going on in my mind, my feelings, my emotions, I'm just sending them to Allah, and Allah can hold on to them. I'm just going to empty myself out, okay? So once I learned to empty myself out and operate from a place of absolute delusionalness, right? Delulu is a solulu. All of a sudden, it was like I was being guided by Allah. And this became very interesting, right? So the synchronicity started coming really easily. It's like somebody was talking to me through my own brain. Now, I don't know how to explain this without being blasphemous, okay? So all I'm going to say is I'm getting like these cues, these synchronicities, these cognitions, these downloads, these gut feelings that do this, take this action. And it's like I tapped into my high self. And all of a sudden, I started making way more money. Everything in my life started fixing up. I started dressing better. I started being more charismatic. Everything in my life literally got significantly better within months. I became happier. I de-aged. I became younger. I started screaming at the top of my lungs. I started screaming infinite. This was the beginning of the start of one of the most blissful times of my life, all the way up until now. Just because I realized this, that in order to actually tap in and get these downloads from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you gotta empty your own mind first. You gotta literally operate from a state of being delusional. Now, I was operating from this state, and I had a friend at the time. And this friend at the time, I told him this. And this is why you don't tell small brains big ideas. When you tell small brains big ideas, what happens is they start to limit you. So if you're going to do this, I recommend you just keep it to yourself and just go on with your synchronicities and go on with your downloads and go on with your gut feelings without telling anybody. Because I told him, and you know what he said to me? He's like, who do you think you are? What do you think, you have some sort of special relationship with Allah? What do you think, you're a prophet? What do you think, you're a messenger? What do you think, you're some sort of saint, some Sufi? And I was like, damn, whoa, this guy is tripping. Whoa, I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what side of the bed he woke up on. But then I realized, I'm like, wait, some people really can't grasp this concept because they've never experienced it. They've never literally experienced what it is to be literally handheld by Allah right through life, because you've completely let go. You completely tapped into this delusional state of faith, which is called taqwa and tawakkul. So when you are in this state where you've emptied your mind and you've tapped into the synchronicities and the downloads and the cognitions and the gut feelings, you know what that is? That's actually taqwa, because you've tapped into God consciousness. You're allowing for Allah to lead you through life. And then when you have tawakkul, it becomes so easy because Allah literally guides you through each door, because you're in such a state of peace and ease. You have no racing thoughts. You're not really stressed about anything. You're kind of just like, it's interesting. You're operating in a state of almost like delusionalness, like I told you, but you're still functioning. It's not like you become ignorant. You don't become illogical. All you do in this moment is you're surrendering and submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He quite literally is now hand-holding you through the process of life. All right? And this is why it's so powerful. So, in reality, the only way that you can truly get to a place in your life very, very, very fast, without any friction, without any problems, without any fear, without any feeling of will it happen, will it not happen, without worrying about the how, is when you're actually able to empty out your mind. You're actually able to apply what that telekinesis guy did. I know that you may not like what I'm saying. I know that guy might be very skeptical or whatever, but what he said literally changed my life. What I learned from this man literally changed my life. And now that I think about it, every single successful person who was able to get to crazy levels of success super fast, all they really had to do was follow their gut. I remember watching a video from this woman. Now, she's not a Muslim woman. I believe she's Christian, right? And what she did, it was so interesting. She said that the way I grew my Instagram followers to 0 to 1 million followers, all I did was every time I got a video idea that I felt good about, I just took action on it right away. Because I took it as a sign from God, a gut feeling, a synchronicity, a cognition, and I just posted it. Anytime I had a good gut feeling, I just did it. And I was like, interesting. So that's what I started doing too. I already knew this principle, so I started thinking about what she said. I'm like, interesting. So if you have the gut feeling, you take action on it right away, all you are doing is you're tapping into the frequency of ideation to manifestation, right? Which you are literally collapsing the amount of time it takes to turn an idea into something that is actual physical, right? And it does wonders, because how do you know if you're actually going through the right door? How do you know if you actually have the right idea? Well, sometimes we don't. Sometimes there's 3 doors in front of us. One can be the door from shaitan, one can be the door of friction, and then the other one can be the door which is Allah's divine path, right? But we don't know which door is actually Allah's divine path. We don't know which one's the door of shaitan. We don't know which one's the door of friction. But when you are able to empty your mind, get into the state of taqwa, get into the state of tawakkul, listen to your gut feelings, and understand that Allah has your back. The way you think of Allah in this moment, by the way, in your life, actually helps this situation. If you believe all the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all 99 names, Al-Qadir, Al-Razaq, right, Ar-Rahman, right? These names of Allah, they're so true. And when you understand these names and you understand that you can't humanize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's beyond our comprehension, you start to realize that anything is possible. So you empty your mind, you get into the state of taqwa, tawakkul, and you listen to your synchronicities, gut feelings, and you actually just see the doors. You see them clear as day. And it's so easy to discern between these doors. You see them and you're like, whoa, that is definitely Shaitan's door. I'm not walking through this door. I remember I posted this video on Instagram just a few days ago, and I was like, it's really hard to make me sin, even if I'm in Miami. Because I have the ability to say no. And the reason why I have the ability to say no is because I have discernment. Why do I have discernment? It's because I have taqwa and tawakkul. That's it. I've let go. I've surrendered my life to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is it. And that is why I can see the doors very clearly. And this is why I'm telling you. Because unless you are able to have taqwa, tawakkul, unless you're able to empty your mind, you are not going to see the doors clearly. And you might walk through the wrong door and then end up self-sabotaging yourself or falling a victim to the devil. And I don't want that for you. I want you to win more than me. I want you to be so successful that you're like, whoa, I want to help other people be successful. That's how successful I want you to be. Because there's so much to go around in this world. There's so much abundance to go around that everybody can be successful and there'll still be more success to go around. Everybody could literally be a billionaire and then there'll still be money to go around. That's how much abundance there is in this world. So that is why I'm teaching you this, is because I genuinely want you to succeed. I genuinely want you to tap into these states so that you can get through these doors. And then when you go through these doors, you continue staying in this state of being almost delusional, taqwa, tawakkul, emptying your mind, listening to your gut feelings, listen to the cognitions, the downloads, the synchronicities, and then you go through the next door, and then the next door, and then the next door, and all of a sudden, you go from homeless to millionaire. All of a sudden, you go from not married and frustrated, and maybe you got your heart broken, to being married to the person of your dreams. All of a sudden, you go from fat to fit. Your life changes super fast because you tapped in, you locked in. You are now in this flow state, and you are in the flow state of not your human self, but the flow state of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are literally being handheld by the divine one. All right? So that's it. I want you to listen to this video a few times. Anytime that you feel frustrated, listen to this video again. Anytime that you feel like you have racing thoughts, listen to this video. Just empty your mind. In fact, before you end this video, do that breathing technique. 1 in, 1 out. 2 in, 2 out. 3 in, 3 out. 4 in, 4 out. 5 in, 5 out. 6 in, 6 out. 7 in, 7 out. 8 in, 8 out. 9 in, 9 out. 10 in, 10 out. And when you're able to breathe, I want you to visualize your ideal self, your best self, your highest self, the self that you know for a fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would want you to be, that you are destined to be in this world. And I want you to let go of all your thoughts, all your limiting beliefs, anything that's in your head. I just want you to put it in a cloud, put it in a bag, okay? Put it in a bag, package it up, and just send it off. Send it off to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, this is your burden now, because you can handle all burdens, and I'm just a human being and I'm flawed. And therefore you can have all these burdens. All right, because you are the one that can handle everything. And now I'm under your submission, I'm under your surrenderance, you are the greatest. And then go pray, submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, all praise to Allah, the Most High. And then that's it. You let Him hold you through life. And then you can have anything you want. And you can be happy in the process. Happiness is a choice at this point. And the truth here is that when you can do what I just told you, you'll just be in a state of peace and ease and tawakkul. And anytime you find yourself drifting, just do exactly what I told you again, and you'll find yourself being just okay. May Allah bless you. Please subscribe to the video, and I'm here for you.